NASCAR on Fox has hit rock bottom yet again. It's like at least the 5th time this season they've done that. Whenever you think they've hit their lowest, they find a way to dig deeper. The Coke 600 was broadcast this past Sunday, the second biggest race of the year for NASCAR on what is the biggest week of the year for racing, and it was a pretty big disappointment. The racing was fine, however, only 249 laps of a scheduled 400 were run due to rain. Kyle Larson, coming off running the Indy 500 that had also been rain delayed, didn't even get the opportunity to run a lap in the Coke 600. In a week hyped up to the gills for Kyle Larson attempting the double and the Coke 600 coming off two incredible races in 2022 and 2023, with a car that's otherwise not been the most liked by NASCAR fans, the biggest story coming out of the 600 wasn't any driver or the racing. It was the decision by NASCAR to call the race, because many fans at the track would confirm that the track was very clearly drying. Justin Champagne even stated that it had stopped raining an hour and a half ago. Hell, race winner Christopher Bell even poked fun at the decision, stating, "Never in a million years I thought I would win a rain-shortened event after it had stopped raining." Not the only driver to poke fun at the decision. Oh yeah, I'd even mention the fact that one of the reasons NASCAR cited for ending the race early was high humidity? As you could imagine, NASCAR fans and drivers were rightfully furious about this. Something was up here. NASCAR never calls a race for high humidity, especially for a race as prestigious as the Coke 600. And as already stated, the track was going to be good enough to race soon. There was more to this than just NASCAR calling the race early. Something was up here. And the more fans looked into it, 2 and 2 started getting put together. Fans would soon come to the conclusion that this was a Fox Sports decision, and evidence of Fox being behind this would arrive very quickly. After the race, Joe Gibbs stated that when the race was called, he was told that NASCAR planned on calling the drivers in 15 minutes to get back in their cars. Not only does this confirm that Fox were the ones behind this decision, but that Fox announced the race would be ending on air before NASCAR had even told the drivers and the race winner. This is the single worst decision NASCAR on Fox has ever made. And if you've seen some of the blunders NASCAR on Fox has made in recent years, that's fucking saying something. I haven't seen a NASCAR broadcast partner screw up this badly since ESPN moved the Phoenix Fall race from ABC to ESPN2 back in 2008 during the final laps. This isn't just an awful decision by Fox. This is flat out malpractice. This is the kind of shit that should get a broadcast partner terminated. NASCAR on Fox went from being the gold standard of motorsports coverage to having the worst coverage of a major sport I have ever seen as a sports fan. The only one I can even compare it to nowadays is Sunday Night Baseball. And even then, NASCAR on Fox somehow makes that look respectable in comparison. Which, if you're a baseball fan watching this, that should absolutely tell you something, because Sunday Night Baseball right now is horrible. For those that haven't watched any of the endless amount of videos that have already been made about NASCAR on Fox being garbage, here's a rundown on everything wrong with NASCAR on Fox. This might take a bit. The production is absolute garbage. Never have I seen worse production for a major professional sports league. The amount of times that the NASCAR on Fox cameras have missed a crash these past couple of years is absolutely insane. Who could forget in 2022 when during the Knoxville truck race the FS1 cameras missed out on a literal flip? A truck literally flipped and the FS1 broadcast fucking missed it. They didn't even bring it up on the broadcast. Another recent example of a NASCAR on Fox production masterclass could be seen with Talladega last month, when Clint Boyer was ready to talk about Corey LaJoie flipping on his side, only to have to stop himself mid-sentence because the Fox production team couldn't even show the right camera angle. The amount of times it felt like I had to see fans at the track and NASCAR themselves post something after the race because Fox didn't show it on TV is truly alarming. By the way, the Fox cameras are often so zoomed in on the cars that they make the South Park LA Chargers joke look tame in comparison. And there's a lot of times when the broadcasts on Fox just sound lifeless, whether that be due to them half-assing things or the fact that you can never hear the crowd during Fox broadcast. And look, I already know that some commenters are gonna say, it's because NASCAR doesn't have the crowds anymore. And let me stop you right there, because that excuse doesn't work anymore. While ratings have been stable for NASCAR, NASCAR is currently seeing their biggest crowds in a long time. You want proof? Look at Pocono. Hell, even Texas saw a good crowd this past April. 5 years ago, the crowds were a good excuse for this, but in 2024, that doesn't work anymore. Especially considering that NBC has zero issues featuring crowd noises in their broadcast. This ain't a NASCAR problem. This is a Fox problem, and it makes their broadcast feel lifeless. And speaking of Fox problems, let's talk about how they actually cover the sport. This blends in well with the production issues, but there's very rarely a point nowadays where Fox ever treats NASCAR seriously, especially with all the garbage comedy segments they do.
And then I said, those aren't the brakes you're pumping.
Bob, you're funny. You're so funny.
What do you mean I'm funny? Like a clown funny?
Your joke was
Am I just here to amuse you, Michael?
I liked your joke. It was funny.
Just kidding, buddy.
There was a time when Fox was great at balancing out comedy and taking the sport seriously, but those days are long gone. And on the topic of NASCAR on Fox, the commentary for Fox just hasn't been the same since Larry Mack left the booth. Mike Joy is a legend, but it's safe to say he's past its prime. And while I have enjoyed the addition of Kevin Harvick to the booth, Clint Boyer has been anything but enjoyable throughout his tenure. Granted, the production in no way helps out the commentary, but it's just not the same as it once was, and it can definitely be better. And finally, the commercials. Oh dear God, the commercials. I understand that commercials have always been a part of NASCAR, but my God does Fox go overkill with them. It's not just that they cut the commercials so much, it feels like they pick the absolute worst times to do so. Remember in the 2022 Daytona 500 when the big one started to happen right as Fox cut the commercial, and it took them over 3 minutes to cut back? Or how about the 2024 Geico 500 when with under 10 laps to go in stage 2, with a lot of action starting to happen up front, Fox just went to commercial. It's just ridiculous. And once again, I understand that NASCAR will never be like F1, but man, just be like IndyCar and utilize side-by-side more. It's a lot more efficient and a whole lot less annoying than what you've been doing all these years. So having brought all of that up, with what we saw this past weekend at the Coke 600, there's no defending NASCAR on Fox anymore. There's been no reason to defend them for years now. The final straw has long been broken. Seeing all the garbage they pulled, all the crap we've had to endure, and knowing that they care so little they'd rather end the Crown Jewel event early because they're probably mad about not getting the ratings they wanted, it's all I need to know about Fox. It's all I need to know that Fox doesn't belong in NASCAR anymore. NASCAR on Fox needs to die. It needs to be put out of its misery. I know that's never gonna happen. They just signed a 7-year extension with NASCAR for the next media deal. But it should. In what way has Fox showed in the slightest they care about this sport anymore? You treat it like garbage. You end Crown Jewel races early. You canceled the only weekly NASCAR show on TV. And clearly, you don't care. You were once the gold standard, and now nobody wants to be you. I've seen many others say it, and it's worth saying here. Fox is the biggest thing holding NASCAR back right now. A statement that is not only true, but a statement that's not going to be going away anytime soon. Just a damn shame this all is.